All right, guys, here we're to talk about another movie. Today we're talking about One Cut of the Dead. 2017's One Cut of the Deadly. Had you seen it before?
I had not, but I'd heard about it. You know, people were like, oh, it's like this, it's like that, but there's like something, there's more to it, just go in blind. And I'm like, I never watch things like that. Fuck that, I'm not watching that. I just never watched it.
So you love and know it's Cannibal Video.
But I wanted to on some level, but I knew that I would have to forget this like little tidbit that I was given, which I've now given all the people.
Yeah.
But I agree with it.
I heard it was a real fun movie, and,
Yeah.
and like it was a very fun coincidence where like as soon as someone said, this one was really good, it was like the week before, I'm like, I just got that from a dollar store. Like,
Just came in the shipment where they fall off a truck and we put them on the shelves
yeah.
here. Excellent.
I think
yes.
often things that are bigger, like or start from another country and then come here, end up at the dollar store. And like,
yeah, this was in like 2019 or 2020 or something.
Probably,
right?
yeah.
Later after it had been released and stuff. Yeah, there was a buzz about it, but then it like went away as usual, whatever.
yeah,
Fine.
I think the buzz is warranted.
Ah, okay, great. Let me just say, before we we get into spoilers, you might find that there's 20 minutes of this movie that makes you want to kill yourself because it's so boring. Keep watching because it ends good. After the beginning is good and the end is good. You may not agree, but I found like by the end it had won me back and resolved in this emotionally satisfying way that I was crying, tears streaming down my face. I was applauding. I was like, this is amazing.
I will 100% agree.
Ah!
Yes, and I will go into my rationale. Into
Boring
spoilers
video,
zone.
no conflict. We did it.
No, this is a fun. I think it'll be a fun one to talk about.
There's a lot to get into
Yeah.
with what they've done structurally, and I'm saying, watch it, pause this, watch that, come back. Spoilers.
All right, guys, if you've seen it or don't care, false over to spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of One Cut of the Dead. I know you liked it because we've been over
We
that part.
kind of gave that away.
We gave that
there's
away.
Really nothing else to say. The rest of this video is just going to be 27 minutes of black frames. Listen, okay. One Cut of the Dead. Oh, it's one long cut. You probably saw a trailer or you heard somebody say, oh, it's like they're making a zombie movie, but then real zombies show up.
Oh, holy cow.
Yeah.
And guess what? That's not, like, it's 2017 even, but still. Just taking those two gimmicks and smashing them together is still not enough for a movie, right? And they know that.
Yeah.
And they make a whole movie out of this.
He's got no arm! No arm!
This is a premise that other movies would have stretched into this 90 minutes where you're like, I get it, they're real zombies and we don't know, right? Ugh.
There's a moment, though, where this feels like it's going to be this, like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a gimmick. Like,
Yeah.
like oh, there 37 minutes of this are one cut. And
Yes.
that is very impressive. And,
Yeah.
and like, especially, this
Well-
is like a $25,000 movie. This is nothing.
Well, it's a movie about making a movie that is one long cut.
Yes.
So, okay. So just
But you don't know that until we get
Okay.
into it.
I was going to say, so like again, the last thing, right? So there's like 30 minutes that is the movie. I wrote in my notes, the latest title card in the history of cinema. 31 minutes or whatever it was. Then there's 20 minutes of like boring if you'll
Yeah, I will.
bear with
Where
like
the joiner feels like so.
Yeah,
At this point,
let's
I'm
be clear.
thinking you filmed a movie 37
Yeah.
minutes, and they're like, we need to make this into a feature. How can we pad it? And I literally wrote down. I'm like, oh my god, this
Yeah.
padding after that first title card,
yeah.
such ridiculousness.
I understand. I'll talk to her. I'm sorry.
then.
I'm sorry.
But then it starts to come into its own.
I literally watched this like hot mad. Like I could do 10 minutes of this maybe, but like by 17 minutes, I was like, oh, this is outrageous. Is the waiter ever coming back? I need another soda. This is I'm not tipping. This is outrageous. I was starting to freak out because I'm like, is there just going to be an hour of a family drama?
Is it really that hard?
What's up?
That's like dubbed for people I don't even know what the fuck. And the whole time I'm like, you're in the movie. I know that. So like, and this is not after, this is before. So something has to, is this all just to be like, and this is how we ended up in the movie? I'm like, this is bullshit. This
That's
is
what
bullshit.
makes it feel like this horrible padding.
It sucks. And like, I don't know how they could have made that better by cutting in stuff. But honestly, now that the experience is over, like, we ate our vegetables and then we got dessert. And
No,
I feel really good.
I would agree that,
I'm
that
okay with it.
almost is a perfect breather because it gives you enough time to be upset. And assuming you don't like leave or pull out right there.
That can't
I
be
think,
intentional,
No, but
though.
it's
Yes, go
such
ahead.
it's like giving you a funny bit in a horror movie. You're like, oh, that relieves the tension. I got to breathe. This is the thing where you're like, oh, what the fuck is this? And it comes back so fucking hard.
So perfectly.
Where like you're seeing every mistake and thing that happens in the whole beginning of the one cut is intentional, and you're like, oh, this isn't an afterthought cash grab. You had to have painstakingly thought all of this out to make this movie.
Bring Yamago back as a zombie, as if you're going to shoot scenes from page 17. Wake up, woman. Look, from page 15, row 15 here, to page 16, row 11.
And that is so good.
Okay, pause there. Last chance. We're going to spoil even more. Watch this movie. Done. All right, my duties have been discharged. Yes, when you find out, when they explain for those parts of the movie, there's a part where it's like a long shot of the chick.
Yes.
And I remember being like, this is interesting. I wonder, I guess they had to do this. This is a little too long though. Then when you see it in the Redux, the guy's like, this is too long. Like, what are they doing?
Isn't it too long?
And you have the added information of like they're rapidly trying to fix a fuck up and they're doing a whole thing.
Everything. They caught all of the issues I had. Like just one guy that has like a towel around his head and you're like, why the fuck is he leaving? Like, what is he doing in the middle of the thing? Why, I have to escape this building for some reason?
What's your problem, huh? Just what then? What is it?
Just let me go!
Oh, it's because he drank fucking hard water or whatever and has horrible diarrhea.
What's wrong?
It's just... I'll be right back.
And is leaving the filming of a movie, because at the time you don't know they're filming a movie, you think they're in a zombie thing. So all the issues are so beautifully handled here.
So like, to be clear, the last 40 minutes of the movie are the first 30 minutes again, pulled back, but only one level, because someone is filming these camera people, filming the other camera people, right? So now you get to see people running and slipping and falling and scrambling and getting back up and throwing something to someone else just in time for the other second fake camera to turn, and then you're like, that's the scene that we watched where that guy was like, wait, why is he there all of a sudden? And it's like it comes together so beautifully.
Well, and during the movie, because like things are falling apart. So during the first 37 minutes, like things are falling apart, and at times the people in the movie talk to the cameraman.
Yes.
And so I have a big note of going like, is there a second cameraman?
Yes.
Just keep shooting. Keep the camera rolling.
Oh, wait, come back!
Like, I wasn't sure what's happening. Like, there's a part where she's like in a little trailer and like feet come in.
Yes.
They don't see her behind a barrel and walk away. I'm like, wouldn't you see the man holding the camera? What is happening here?
Yes, exactly.
But the cameraman is not a real person.
Yes.
And that's... And once it all starts to come into its own, it's so good.
And we should cap that off as like, she like grabs her mouth like, oh, I have to be quiet because I'm going to be killed by a zombie. It turns out that's like a production assistant or one of the people holding up a note that I can't read because it's in whatever other language.
That's a little annoying. There's a lot of things like that that they don't bother to tell for
They don't
American
flash
audience.
Text cards. At least how we watched it, it's not in there. I don't know if you can enable that or something, but someone's holding up a note. So she's reacting like, oh shit, I was about to talk to you and ruin the movie, and now I'm like holding this and then reading the note. I'm not scared.
Yeah.
I'm like reading, I'm supposed to go there now, I guess, whatever it is.
I have to go find an axe.
Because they have to change.
I need to pick that up because we lost the girl who would have had the axe.
So they're changing on the fly. They have to change the cast right before they start, and then as things come up, they have to adapt to weird shit that happens.
Yeah.
So it explains all of the inconsistencies and weirdnesses. There's a part in the finale where the axe head chick stands up all of a sudden and then falls back down.
Yes.
And you were like, what the fuck is that?
What's that?
Oh, did she have
Was she a zombie, I guess?
Like, what was that? The fact that the director choked her out to get her to stop ruining the scene.
Okay, they're married. It's okay. Or dating, whatever they are. They're married.
I believe
right?
they're married.
So it's fine to choke out your wife.
Yeah. And a lot of that...
Supreme Court said so.
When they first... as long as it's as thick as your thumb.
I'm saying... okay.
When they were first going back to like, okay, this is before, and you're like, wait, they're married? What the fuck? None of that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't know anything.
Oh, God.
So much is revealed that these are actors and it's an actual thing and it's a movie.
So like the real director has to be the in-media director.
Yeah.
And his wife, who was just hanging out, plays the in-the-movie makeup lady.
No problem. It's funny. A director playing a director.
And like when that happens, the daughter is like, she can do it. And then the husband's like, wait, no. And then there's a line in there, he's like saying why she can't. And he's like, do you know how much I've suffered?
You have no idea what Mom was like when she was acting. I suffered so much from it.
I shouldn't do it. Who else do you have in there?
Not Mom, definitely no.
He has a weird thing where I'm like, oh God, what's gonna happen?
Yeah,
and she gets into the role. Yes.
Like her,
So-
she sees what she thinks is a bite on the
Yes.
actress, and she's going to kill her.
So like that's in the real movie where you think this is all planned, and then by the end you realize no, that this actress who's not an actress, who can't act because she goes crazy, has gone crazy. They're running. They're not zombies. They're he's wearing makeup and she's not bitten, and they're running from a real woman with a real axe who's trying to kill them.
No.
It's okay. I know. Just in case.
Calm down, Miss Now.
I'm calm. I'm dead calm. I am.
Yeah,
Right?
When he goes on like the
That's
like,
perfect.
he's like zombies, stop her, and she like kung fu kicks and throws one down.
Yes, because in the first run you think, oh, she's taking care of business.
Yeah.
This chick's awesome. I train self-defense. She does all this
But
stuff.
she's actually just beating the shit out of
And
people.
random actors and people trying to help and like jump in or whatever.
Stop her!
Out of my way!
When that person is drunk and vomits
Yes.
on the other, I'm like, oh my God, that's so good. It's actual vomit.
Yes. Okay. This guy, they're setting something up. Something's going on here. But by the time you fully come around, this guy's a zombie because, like, okay, he was always meant to be a zombie.
Yes.
But he got blind drunk to the point where the director is crawling around like
He's weakened at Bernie'sing this puppety man.
he's holding his belt and like moving him around and doing stuff. And he's like holding his arm and like slapping the window and shit. There's all sorts of things that happen. We're seeing it from the other side is so mind-blowing and so amazing.
It's I can't believe just how well it is done.
It's
and
so
like
meticulous.
How to puppeteer
Yes.
like and I don't mean our drunken people, but I mean
Yes.
every scenario of this had to be so well thought out, and on the budget it had, like it just so many bodies. I think like it's not necessarily that they had to have things; they had to have people to make this all work.
Yeah, I think it's a weird. Not like this takes away from it, but I think like I said before, they're just pulling it back one level. So now you see that camera too, or something, right?
Yeah.
Which is like, oh, that makes it easier because we're going to show the other cameraman who's getting the close up of the zombie, right? They have a way of now integrating, but there's another cameraman filming that cameraman is the whole point. So you're like, wait, what are you doing?
I read something that this was like the final project of a school or something. So like most of the actors that are in this
nice.
actually paid to be in the movie because it was like their project or
Okay,
whatever.
yeah.
Something like that, if I'm remembering correctly. And
Well,
I
with the
kind of
bu-
love that.
I didn't look up the budget, so if it's $25,000,
$25K, yeah.
and
it made $25 million.
there's a lot of like sweat equity in this or whatever you want to call it. There's a lot
But
of
that's
love.
up there with like Blair Witch profits.
Yeah,
Like,
that's crazy.
That's a lot.
No, and it earned it. And like I'm usually the more pretentious one. I feel like it was able to trick me to the point, like you said, because it's so hot and cold.
Yeah.
You've like forgotten the first part by the time the third part comes in, so you can be blown away.
Yeah.
But you also forget the second part during the third part. So the fourth part, when they're forming the human pyramid, and then she flashes the picture. Oh, Dad, you remember? Like I take after you, and I was on your shoulders filming at like the zoo that one time when I was like 3 years old or something. And he's like, oh shit, and they're all working together. It does this supercut of them all laughing, like we did it, and it's awesome, and you feel that you're like, I went on this journey with these people. It's so good.
There's such a great quality jump too from the first 30 minutes, to like the end there, where you're like, oh no, it becomes this real movie where things are happening, and you're like, oh, these characters, look what they're doing. When like the blood sprays the camera and they wipe off the thing, because you're like, okay, so I'm not watching this movie through the eyes of a movie. You know, there's a cameraman because you can physically see a wipe happening there, and the idea that like blood had to have actually hit the lens for them to wipe off. That's such a risky thing to do.
Or like a little scream, but still, yes.
But
they
still,
have to get those things to happen.
It's a risky thing to do in a movie where you know you're only going to do this in one take.
Yeah.
And like he has to grab that on the run from someone to wipe the lens.
Oh yeah, is it like really one take? I guess it is.
The first 37 minutes is legitimately one take.
These days, I always assume that it's like that it's fake or something.
That they hide it
right?
through transitions.
They just hide
but
stuff.
They do not. They didn't have the budget to do that.
Even just watching them pretend to film it, even if that's all we see in the last bit, they're clearly capable of doing it because the way they're like, everyone's running and jumping and like helping each other and like, like crouching and sliding to get out of the camera as the camera's whoop and comes around. You're like, this is amazing. Yes.
There's a couple of shots where you can see people
or that
before
it's not,
their cues.
Yeah. Or that it's not the same exact thing or something, right? Some of it I think is a little hand wavy when they show you the behind the scenes. It didn't really look like that, but yes.
It is funny. Like there are some things where like this is an awkward wait. And what was really funny for me too, and it comes back on it. In the beginning, the guy with the towel, I don't think you're gonna get this one. The guy with the towel on his head is kind of just sitting there during a scene, and they kind of like walk past him. And I'm like, what is he just doing there? The man is struggling to hold his bowels in. So it all works. It's not this actor waiting for his cue in this like low budget movie. It like most of those things are real things that are built into the canon. You will eventually find out, and I like that too.
No, and I think it pulls this like again like for the pretentious angle. It pulls this like trick of like showing you like, well, no, the thing that you see, there's so much more behind it, and you know, even in like a Star Wars movie, there's so much like last minute, like a Disney movie, whatever, of like, oh, we have to make do. Oh, this actor pulled out. Oh, there was a car accident. They can't show up. Oh, well, we only have one day. We have to film it. What do we do? Do we use a CG Spider-Man? Wait, no, we can do this. And they figure out like what to do, and it's like, and then you watch it and you're like, Spider-Man looks a little weird in that scene, but that's it. You don't know the fucking like dozen people's lives are ruined for like a few days trying to compensate for these things. And this was a little tiny little bit of that to show normal people what it's like and how shitty and crazy stuff can be, right? I like that a lot.
Yamado!
They said his name.
Stop him!
Oh shit! No!
I like the guy with the diarrhea. I keep mentioning him. I love what he's like. He's like squatting and shitting, and they're like, "Do the makeup. We have no time."
There's no time to wait. Come on.
Applying makeup to this man squatting and taking a shit. Brilliant.
Honestly, like we've made movies. They weren't good and you're not allowed to watch them. But the point is, like, they picked each person to represent like one of the 7 deadly sins of trying to make a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Because that same guy is like, I sent you an email. Did you look at the email?
I sent an email about that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've emailed you.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Didn't you read it?
And I'm having like flashbacks to getting like invoices from actors where you're like, no, what the fuck? We have no money. What are you talking about? Why are you charging me for your bus ticket? You're an insane person. All this fucking like his level of annoying, being low key, but like, wait, did you? No, I need special treatment for something. Like that's such a perfect, tonally perfect.
I love water gives him diarrhea.
That doesn't make any sense. He has a weird like water, mental
what
problems.
What does he mean? He needs hard water or mineral water?
He needs soft water.
Soft water.
And like the bottles have different colors. Yeah. So in my head I'm like, oh, is that a thing wherever this is from, where like you can buy soft water or whatever? Because in America, everything is hard.
Like from the tap, like, oh, you live in the mountains or where you live there? Soft or hard? Whatever, minerals. I don't know. But
it's
very
like
funny.
It's like the luck of where you live, and then otherwise you're just drinking like distilled water that's pretending to be spring water, even though it's not. Go USA.
Is this hard water?
Pardon?
I can only drink soft water.
Let me see.
Or I get bad diarrhea.
Yeah, the actress too, who's like, oh, I'm not. Can I use eye drops? Is this like recurring thing? And like, oh, she's not. I don't believe your performance. And then like we get to double this up where now it is crazy. Now she is scared.
Can't you try and cry for real?
Well, I think I can, but it's more assuring, don't you think?
We can't do retakes, so it's better that way.
Because there is a woman with an act, like everything, and like the prima donna diva, like young attractive man actor guy who basically gets to be all like, at one point multiple people are just shitting on him, like, shut up, just do it, like all this, because he's like, wait, I don't agree with the thing, and he's like, shut up, you bastard.
He said it's your fucking cue, brat. You heard? Move your ass.
All right.
Chop, chop.
When the director first gets a chance to really blow up at people, he screams at that girl like, hard enough that she is crying, and they're like, oh, here are your drops, and she's like, yeah.
I'm good.
Why don't you peel off that lie-infested mask of yours for your pretty face right now?
Over the line.
Fuck off, you little piece of shit!
And same thing with him. Like, he roughs him up, tells him exactly the thing. He's gone off book. Went a little hard.
You little piece of shit! This is my show, man. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Hey,
huh?
come
I'm
on.
talking back to the
Let's
start
go.
of rehearsals. I am sick of taking your shit.
Yeah, he like turns around and like grabs a dude by his thing, goes, "Don't you understand how important this is to me?" Like, and that's just him doing it.
Yeah, that's him
and
telling you his feelings as a director.
So like that guy too was like unrecognizable to me. Like the character in the beginning and the character in the middle.
The camera won't stop until the end, unless, of course, something goes really wrong. So be careful, watch what you're doing, okay?
When he's like his mild mannered, like, well, I guess we have to do.
You know, I think you should learn to compromise a bit. Since you're leaving home soon.
He's just doing that, and then
Yeah.
because he's
His
all
manic state by the end.
he's always on, because that dude will just show up in a scene and go, action, yes, you're doing it, good, and just like all this stuff. So he was so different. He was so night and day. And there's a little line where one of the like executives is like watching, on the monitor and goes, oh, he can act.
But you were just acting, right?
Nice one, director. He can act.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
fucking, but he's acting like himself because he is pissed because this is killing him, right?
I like the
It's
dub
so
on this
good.
too. Like
Oh, it's
sometimes
fine.
the dub can really
Yeah.
ruin a movie. I thought this was fine.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
good. It was more than serviceable.
Yeah.
Uh,
During the family drama part too, though, I was kind of like, oh, now I have to watch an hour of like, oh, you have to catch this like stupid thing or whatever. And then when it like, makes good on its threats, it's like, whatever, different.
I was trying to keep like in mind things. I was looking for the cuts in that
Yeah.
first part, seeing like, is this fake? There's a smudge on the camera that is there through the whole movie. All right, so me from the editing room, I actually wanted to look and see if you could really see where the smudge started and where it ended, and you completely can. Let me break that down for you right now. All right, so here it is. Our boy gets spit up in his face, and it leaves this little drop of water. That water happens at 4 minutes 53 seconds, and that drop will stay, that smudge, right here until it is wiped away at 20 minutes 10 seconds. Confirmed. One take. And honestly, though, if I were to make a movie and I was going to try to hide the fact that it did have cuts, I would do the exact same thing. I do believe it is actually one cut, but putting like a little like smudge on the top right of your screen would be a great way to hide things. Like, no, look, it's there the whole time.
It must be the same cut.
Yeah.
Look. And it's like, oh, you doth protest too much. I think that the one cut thing is bullshit.
Do you?
I don't like I think it's a gimmick. I think I'm like results oriented and stuff. So I literally don't care if it looks like one cut or if it is one cut.
Agreed.
No. But people give points like, you gotta see this movie.
Yeah.
It took them 12 years to make. Right?
Well, it's like
Some
when everyone
fucking
says
bullshit.
like, we film this on a cell phone. They don't care if there's $26,000 worth of attachments on the cell phone to make it an actual camera.
Like the mount and the lens and everything. Exactly. No. So I don't.
Yeah, you get points for just trying.
No, but I don't like gimmicks. But that's why this was like an uphill battle.
I think it was
like,
4 or
smashed it
5 takes before they got it in one one go.
Yeah.
Which
and like
honestly, very
it's
impressed.
it's like 23, like 25 minutes I think of like one take or something. And like like people used to do plays. You can do a one take thing. It's just complicated shifts and moving and film is more.
The dialogue
right?
is not the issue at all. It's the poor cameraman who has to get this exactly perfect each time.
Oh. Speaking of the poor cameraman, there's a shot where like the camera has fallen down, and now we know from watching the end that like that guy's like back locked up or something. He was like, oh, and like falls down.
Huh? Why did he stop? What the fuck is this?
Well, as you know, carrying most of our crew could
but
it was too heavy.
But he was in shape, so it's very different.
Yeah.
Also, cameras are small now, and they're made of digital. But then the intern who kept bugging him, like let's do more interesting shots. Can we do like a zoomy thing?
Yeah.
Then she just like freaks out and goes, oh fuck, and grabs the camera, and then she's doing her shit. And she's doing it's so.
I love that too because it's also an artsy shot. It just being on the ground.
Yes,
and it hides some things. You can get some sins out of the way.
It totally like not to like hand wave it, but to be like that's what was happening this whole time.
Yeah.
There was one set of footprints because I dropped the camera. Right. There's a whole like weird thing behind it where because like the first time you see it, you have 0 outside of it. I think to know that like this part's intentional, but that part is not. Right. So you're just along for the ride, then you learn about all the characters, then you see the ride with all of like the, it's like literally like a ride at Disney World where now you're seeing, oh yeah, the robots go behind this thing before they come back out. You can see everything behind, all like the gears.
It's so calculated.
Yeah.
And that's very enjoyable.
Meticulous, whatever you want to call it.
It really makes you
yeah.
feel part of the game here because of being able to see that. Especially after watching the whole first part where it's all happening. Seeing it again could be repetitive in a lesser movie.
Right.
But in this, the second half felt so much better than the first half because of how it was done.
Yeah, it feels
I wrote like complete 180. My God, this is brilliant.
It feels like an engineered experience to make you feel what you feel at the end. Which is what every movie is, but honestly, like.
But not every movie works.
And like the amount of effort for the for the amount of dollars, this must have been someone's like dream or project or like you said, like it's a school thing or something. Yeah.
The fact that the amount of money that went into it, regardless of effort, how much it made, that's crazy. How often you get a return like that?
And it deserves it. I think this is actually
this
like
is a great movie.
Super. It's certified fresh, as you can tell in the box. Why is that on there? You son of a bitch.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Be scared. Naturally.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinion